up, y'all? This your friendly neighborhood fly guy, Cool Kim, a.k.a. NY All the Ideal. Representing for them UMCs. You remember Blue Cheese and all that? Well, right now, I'm in the House of Hip Hop podcast show with the flyest host of all, Spicy Sugar. Ooh, the name alone make my taste buds tingle, you heard? This is the house that hip hop built, presented by S.STREET Media. Yeah, power to the people. Notes 82. I need y'all to listen real close to this. Pay attention. They'll never catch me slipping. Hands in the air, these cops is really on a mission. Cams on the dance, don't give a fuck about your feelings. Stand your ground tall, you see that shit is meant to kill us. Power to the people, look you slinging, then I'm pitching. Words from my soul, I got an illmatic vision. Big had a dream, Pac really caught attention. Time to give it up, you see the flow is still different. Friends plotting tricks, you see I had to make decisions. Came from the bottom, look the curve is just my vision. Concrete jungle like
no, send me a request.
Give the people truth and then they'll rip your soul to pieces. Time to give it up, I see the hate is more contagious. Really not concerned cause your mind is more vacant. Lies being told like we still segregated. My give it up vibe, no peace, I'm about to take it. Where y'all at? Power to the people, stand the fuck up. We about to ride out here. They doing us wrong out here, man. What y'all gonna do about it? You gonna stand up? Reality hits you with something about political issues created to get you. Or leave you on your block with this pistol. Tearing your tissues, won't even shed a tear when they miss you. Society's issue, send us overseas with the missiles. It's time to break you. Time to take the chains off our ankle. The system can break you. Free because our people was labeled. This honor can change you. Have you with the gun at your navel. Now he's disabled. All because his mental is hatred. When sipping his grapes. Rather have the mind of an angel. Visions are able. Seems like every cop is unstable. These bullets can take you and wonder why there's blood on your table. The family can break you. Leave you in the coma unstable. They ready to face you. Find out that your brother they hate you. When life is a cradle. We'd rather live our lives in the stable. Nothing can break you unless you want the Father to take you. So tell me why we gotta die. Tell me why we gotta cry.
Welcome to the House of Hip Hop.
We need to stand up.
It's your girl Spicy Sugar.
Yeah.
We are listening to Notes 82, our guest for the night.
My message, my plan. Bring the streets together, one mission, one stand. I'm really from the ghetto, but a one-man band. I'm all about the struggle, but it's time to give it back. Time to give you truth, time to give you real. Black Hill Ave, I would Nico, where's your scoop? Cause niggas got a dream, but they scared to get the loot. Brothers getting hard, but they never been a book. Youngers getting high, but that medicine is push. Time to get a job, no excuses, you should look. Your life is like a movie, at the end of your look. You shook, then look, defeat your Facebook. The world is full of dreams, opportunities, and all. Brothers screaming progress, but we focused on the fall. You're wrong. I see our futures actually strong. I finally see a change, now just listen to this song. Yeah. I just want to tell my people out there, man, we are done wrong on a daily basis. And you know what? It's time to stand up and do something about it. These cops shooting people down in these streets of color. And you know what? I don't like it. You shouldn't like it either. So we gonna stand up. We gonna ride out here till everything is done the way it's supposed to be. Notes 82. Shit. New York City is under new management.
Hello, everyone. It's your girl Spicy Sugar, and we are here with another episode of the quarantine edition of the House of Hip Hop podcast show. Please follow me here. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in. Make sure you follow me on not only Instagram but Twitter, which is Spicy Sugar 718. Please follow me on Facebook and YouTube at the House of Hip Hop Podcast Show. And please, please, please follow the home team, which is S.STREET Media. Follow them at S_Street_Media on Instagram, Skol Street on Facebook, SCHOLEZ Street on Facebook, and S.STREET Media .info is the website. Thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. Hello, my hip hop family. I see you, Debonair. I see you, Kevo. Juke City, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Like I said, it's your girl, Spicy Sugar, and my guest of the night is already in the building, so let me add him. I am very excited to have him here, Brooklyn's own. I don't even know whether to call him a rapper, an MC, a lyricist. This boy is crazy.
Go on.
Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Notes 82.
What's going on?
Hi, sweetheart.
It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad that we are able to, finally sit down and have a conversation. Shout out to everybody live too.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you in the building. Like we said, it's a long time coming. Yes. Salute always to our brother,
Jason Bourne. Yeah.
It takes a lot for me to even talk about him. Like, I'm not gonna speak to him or see him after this. You understand what I'm saying?
He's been with me since his passing, but he's still been with me in spirit. And I think all of us pushing and doing what we got to do, that's what he would want us to do. So shout out to the real plug in New York City. And he's still working his wonders in heaven. So shout out to my brother. I love my brother so much.
Salute to my brother, man. Salute to my brother. There's so much that's happened since he's left. Us physically, and like you said, there's so much happening because now he has a better seat to control everything. Yeah. So we love you. Without him, I wouldn't know you. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Big heart out to him.
That's right. Before we get started too, I want to also shout out a company. Salute to CMNY. They are a clothing company. This is one of their shirts I have on today. Salute to Prodigy and Havoc, Mobb Deep. They celebrated the 25th anniversary this week. So this is my tribute to them.
Shout out to the GOATs, man. They're GOATs and they're legends in this game, so shout out to them, definitely.
That's right. Rest in peace, Prodigy, forever. Yes. So you are no exception.
Yes.
At the House of Hip Hop, anybody who comes through has to do one traditional thing for me.
Okay.
And that is introduce yourself to the people. So without further ado,
this is Notes 82, straight out of Brooklyn, East New York, and I'm kicking it. I'm kicking it with Spicy Sugar 718 tonight. The House of Hip Hop Podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us. Like you said, Brooklyn native. Yes. You, from what I understand, you have always been a hip-hop head, a hip-hop-holic, as I call them. Yeah. I'm the president and CEO. Like, there's no rehab for this type of addiction. Absolutely no rehab for this type. But you've been a hip-hop head, a hip-hop-holic for, most of your life.
Yes.
And, but you haven't been involved in MCing yourself per se for a very long time, correct?
Yes, you're correct.
So why don't you describe to the people how you got started?
Basically, I'm going to tell you my story of falling in love with hip hop. So I fell in love with hip hop. I would say around the time I probably was about 10, 11 years old. I had an older brother. He was like 5 years older than me, and basically introduced me to hip hop. Bringing those cassette tapes home, and I always say this: these kids probably don't even know what cassette tapes are. But bringing the cassette tapes home, the Mobb Deeps, the Biggie Smalls, the Jay-Z's, the Nas tapes and the Wu-Tang tapes, and when he went out the house, had the Walkman underneath the mattress, and he would go out the room, go outside to play ball. I'd be in the house, I'd be listening to the Walkman, and just going crazy. And
Walkman?
Yeah, they don't know what that is either. So that shows you my age. Yes, Notes 82 will give you my age, but it shows you my age if I'm talking about Walkmans.
That's right.
Yep.
I love it. Like you said, Brooklyn native. What part of Brooklyn?
I'm from East New York, Brooklyn. East New York. You know? But, I got family over Brooklyn, man. My mom, she grew up in Bedford-Stuyvesant in the Brevoort Projects.
Okay.
I got a lot of Brooklyn blood in me. My father, he's from the South. He did move to New York City when he was 17, and he didn't retire and go back home until he was about 45, 48.
Okay.
So,
okay. Good age.
Yep.
Wish I could retire at 45. To hell with y'all.
Hey,
But but yeah. So who were you said you were a hip hop holic. So who were your go-tos in hip hop at the time?
Well, typically if you're a New York person, you know who your go-tos are. They want to give you the big Nas, but I'm going to go a different route. The Mos Defs, the Talib Kweli's, these are Brooklyn guys that I grew up adoring, So, the Nas, the Jay-Z's, the Biggies, that's normal. Even Raekwon, I like Raekwon. I'm going to go back a little bit. The Coogee Raps, the Big Daddy Kane's, the KRS-One. So I love the whole, when it came to back then, the whole, all 5 boroughs. You came out of any borough in New York City, I loved it. I didn't have one particular favorite, but it was like I gained a lot of knowledge from a lot of artists back then, and they told stories, So I like storyteller. I love stories. So anybody that told a story, I loved it.
Yeah, I love that. You spent a lot of years studying the greats. You slid right into existence in the most perfect time for hip hop. But you've only started your own journey in the last, say, 2 years, correct?
Yes. You're right. You're absolutely correct.
And in those 24 months, you have done so much. So when did you realize that you had something?
It's not even 2 years. I think 2 years now. I feel like I'm making momentum. I think because I'm gonna give you a story. So it's a story behind my 82. 82 is definitely my birth year, but that's not what the 8 stand for. So it's 8 years actually coming back to music and 2 years actually doing what I'm doing now. So I was down south for a while, and for a long time, for 8 years, I didn't do music. On that 8th year, I actually started writing again. I actually did a mixtape called The Vision down south, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't have anybody around me that was teaching me the game and stuff like that. So I started it. My wife got it kind of involved. I'm like, babe, I want to come back to music. I want to do this. But she's like, if you're going to do it, you got to go hard. You can't just sit here and just, play around with it. So second year I moved back up north, and here I am now, doing what I got to do. So, work is never done. It's no sleep, and it's all grind. That's how I look at it.
I feel you. So, since you came back up, as they say, up top.
Yeah.
You've been dropping projects. I know your first project, was that Reflections?
That was my first project, yes.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about Reflections.
Reflections was the project that you guys got from me that was the 8 years and then 2 years coming back to music. It was that type of project. It was a personal project. So it was really a project that was a process of things that were going on in those 8 years. If you look at it, it was like, I was going through me and my brother were going through. We're cool now, but we were going through at the time. A couple of friends that I lost, another friend that I was harboring pain off of the Suicide song that he committed suicide years ago.
Oh, wow.
And for me, it was just unleashing all the pain that I had to get out and just giving you guys another side to an artist. Because sometimes some artists vulnerable to give you your feelings, but I'm always not emotional, but I like to give you my emotions when I'm making a project. So that project, I don't ever want to go through that type of project again, but I think it made some good traction. I think people like that when you bring that out as an artist,
Right. Yeah. It's always important to. A lot of artists don't like to be raw, and a lot of artists don't like to be vulnerable in their projects, on their, in their creations. But I feel like some of the best timeless pieces that we've gotten out of some of the greats have been when they were in the midst of something really crazy, you know what I mean? Or something really personal. So, while I understand that artists of any genre and movie, whether it be movies, music, deserve to go through things in private, I feel like they make some of the best work when they dig down into those emotional situations. And give us a little, share the best example I could think of is Mary J. Blige. And you can't say nothing about Miss Jenkins to me.
No,
okay?
At all.
Nothing.
Not the queen, no, at all. Not her.
Statue, right down. Talk about Miss Jenkins if you want to, aka Mary J. Blige.
Yep.
And almost every woman of my time and in between will tell you how many bridges Mary has drugged them back from.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Like,
you can relate.
Listen, Mary stopped me from bashing quite a few windows, flattening a lot of tires. Not gonna cry.
Yep.
Not gonna cry.
Exactly.
No more.
You're right.
So when artists, especially hip hop and our R&B hip hop, people kind of dig in and pull what they are going through out for inspiration, it's the best thing ever. Look at Styles P. Locked Up is one of my favorite fucking joints from him.
Yeah. Yes.
And where did that come from? The pain he was going through.
Yeah. And he suffered a lot of pain. A lot.
A lot of pain.
Even if that song, you understand it more because he went to jail. You understand what I'm saying? So you understand it more, and then, the pain, not even that, just he's that type of rapper that gives you that raw. He's nice. He's super nice. But he gives you that emotion every time. So I appreciate the craft. I appreciate when people can talk about the issues that they're going through and they just unleash it on a track and it comes out to be a masterpiece. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Yes. But I understand the process as well. The process can take you through some really dark places. But I think that's all part of being an artist. Some artists have to go to that dark place in order to get inspiration. So
it's the truth. That's the truth. It is.
Yeah, so you never know. So Reflections was one of those, emotional, very personal pieces. But you followed up with an EP called Timeless, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so why don't you tell the people a little bit about what happened at Timeless? Because I want you all to go back and do your homework. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm giving you a little piece of notes, 82. There is so much more to this guy here. So I want him to go through in the 2 years the catalog he's already put together. We came in on one of his newest joints, so we're going to get to the new stuff in a minute, but I want him to go through this journey. So why don't you, let them know about Timeless and where that came from? What's the inspiration for that?
I'm going to be honest with you. I had a conversation with one of my, I don't have friends. I have brothers, I have sisters. That's who I look at. So I had a brother, it's Nico Tesla. I had a talk with him and just was like, we were talking about music one day and he just was like, look, man, like, we were talking about just Timeless. And he just was like, yo, man, like, music for the soul, you need that timeless music that's going to feed the people's soul. So for me, I didn't want to be too much of pain on the Timeless track, like the Timeless EP, like I was on Reflections. So I thought about having records that would actually just give you raw emotions of Notes 82. So Timeless was just Timeless was just a track that you just basically hold on. Timeless was hold on one second.
No problem.
Timeless was just that EP that I just wanted to give people a different side of me and just show people that I'm really a lyricist and then instead of just a person that shows you pain and stuff like that. So Timeless that whole EP, a body of work that I wanted to give people timeless music, so it's just another side of Notes 82. I just wanted to be different because kept hearing people putting me in that box of Reflections. When Reflections 2 gonna come out? I'm like, no more Reflections no more. I don't want to go through Reflections again because life at that point was getting good. Life was getting good.
Yeah.
It was like I was building relationships in the circle. I was building relationships with people like Jason Bourne, building relationships with people like Kevo, or people like, Skrilla Gambino and stuff like that, And shout out to my brother Skrilla Gambino, because he was really he was really the one that told me. I had it out on SoundCloud at first. He's like, man, take that off of SoundCloud and put that straight on services. He's like, stop giving away free jewels. So for me, it was like, once I got the stamp of approval, especially from somebody I consider like probably one of my favorite artists, or two artists out of New York City right now, and they're hot and they're up and coming. I mean, gave me that advice, and especially I'm older. My little brother giving me that advice, it made me feel good. Like, yo, you got to keep pushing, you got to keep going, you got to let the world hear this. SoundCloud,
That's right. And I want to talk about that a little bit, because I'm always going in with people when it comes to SoundCloud and some of these other streaming websites that people use to get exposure.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a very good thing for that. But once you start getting yourself established, now you up here robbing yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't like to talk about the paler, people, but the one thing that I do give some of those pop artists is they know when to pull all their stuff off of them streaming sites. And the one person I have to look up to when it comes to that is what's that girl name that pulled everything she had out from YouTube, SoundCloud, not Katy Perry. What's the one that Kanye interrupted? What's her name? I forgot. I'm so bad with names. Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift went, and as soon as she started, after that Kanye thing, she pulled all of her music off of all of them streaming sites. And look at that girl. You cannot, it's there to catapult you. After that, no mas.
And you know what? You're right about that. You got to get to that next level. Like, even with your masters, owning your masters, your publishing and stuff like that, you have to understand that you got to have that knowledge of self to say, you know what? I don't want to rob myself anymore. I just want to, and for me, I had to learn that, because I was just all about, and then I had to have sit downs with people, and they was like, yo, you're too dope of an artist to sit there and just give away your music. Stop doing that. You got to build something. Even the team I got around me now, shout out to Enterprise Marketing Group. They're showing me so much. Shout out to G Fish and D Daves, and even the brothers that are around, they're showing me a lot of stuff, and I'm actually moving now. And I think I was moving before them, but I think now I'm getting a little bit more of a push, because I'm passionate about that I do,
Yeah, it's important, because we've had way too many of our pioneer artists that didn't know these things and got super robbed. Like, to the point where now a lot of our greats are just making the money and getting the rights that they should have had in the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s. People didn't really understand it until Left Eye, God rest her soul, broke it all the way down in 30 seconds.
You're right.
That's when people started to really understand, whoa, that's how it goes? Yeah. That's exactly how it goes. When they robbing you for your shit. That's exactly how it goes.
And my thing is, don't be so quick and fast, too, because you see money on the table. It's like, money, and you're not reading the fine print. You have to read all of that stuff when you're sitting down with a label. That's why, to be honest with you, I'm honest. I like to be independent. I
was going to go into that. Because, with both Reflections and Timeless, they both were independent projects.
Yeah.
You have remained an independent artist. So I know you've had another one in between this one and the newest one and Timeless. But with the other projects and these projects, I was going to ask you, how do you feel about keeping everything independent, keeping everything indie?
I love it, man, because think about it like this. I think what happens is the labels actually take over. When you sign to a label, they take over your creativity sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? And they don't allow you to be the artist you are. They talk a good game, you know, when you first come in, and it's like, oh, we don't like that, we don't like this. And think about me, the type of artist.
The best thing that not to interrupt you, but the best line that they give you when you know shit's about to go wrong, we don't want to take away any of your creativity.
Nah, that's bull. That's bull.
It's the first thing they're going to take away from you, my guy.
Exactly.
Hey.
Exactly. Well, for me, I'm not that type of person. I'm learning so much now at this age that I'm at, which is fine. I mean, music has no age on it. That's how I look at it. If you're super dope, keep going. So for me, I'm not that type of person to sit there and have my creativity taken away. And it means a lot to me. Because for me, I make songs like No Justice, No Peace. Well, labels are going to look at me and be like, we don't want to sign this guy because he's already a high risk. Well, I'll be a high risk on my own and I'll be independent. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I believe that. I believe I am the voice of the people. And that's what I'm going to be. And I'm going to keep preaching that I'm the voice of the people until our people understand it's time to stand up. It's time to stop taking... We're taking all the crumbs at the bottom of the barrel. No, we need everything. I want to eat good. I want to be a fat... I want to be a fat...
Day. Every day, not seasons. Every day.
Every day. You know? Don't get me
So, what'd you say, hon?
I said, I don't want a piece of the pie. I want the whole pie.
I want the pie for me to share out amongst the people. I don't want you to just give me a slice. That's how I feel.
Exactly.
I'm an only child, so I ain't got no problem with keeping everything to myself. But I'm not that type of person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not that type of person. So with Reflections and Timeless, did you work with any? Because to me, when artists come out the gate like that, it really lets you get to know them.
Yeah.
It really lets you get to know their styles, their idiosyncrasies, their versatility. Yeah. Too many artists rely on features nowadays. They can be garbage, but if you have somebody that's a name or somebody that makes the right sounds and clicks and shit, you got a hit and a beat. You got a hit.
Yep.
So moving on, and I want everybody to understand that all of these projects has happened in the last 24 months. We're not talking about year time span. We're talking about the last 24 months. So we already went through 2 of them. Almost right behind that, you let go of another one, correct?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. So tell them, what's the name of the third project you have let go?
The third project I let go was actually called 82. So it was 82 the EP. The whole thing behind 82 the EP, I was giving you my love for hip hop. So I wanted to show people a different type of feel to me and give you my love for hip hop. So that kind of was like a gift to hip hop, and it's like me calling it 82 was a gift, 82 to the people. So that's what that was.
And on that EP, how many joints you had on that?
I had 5 on there.
Okay. And when did you drop that?
I dropped that, we're in May now. I want to say I dropped that sometime in April, I want to say. Early April. So.
Workhorse, just going. Shit.
I just got a slew of music that I always felt like the work ethic that Pac had, I wanted the same type of work ethic that he had. So, my legacy can live on if, God forbid something happens, I have something there for the people to put out, or my wife to...
That man had 300 ready to goes by the time he left here. 300.
Everything in the studio. Everything was a studio to him. So I don't know how he got time to party and all this other stuff, because he was there.
Yeah. That's crazy. So that was in April. And then now it seems like almost every month and a half you let go of something. So, and I'm going through this for a reason, because I want y'all to understand, the audience and people who's watching, how much of a workhorse this man is already.
Yes.
Like, easily, by next year, he'll probably have like five albums that year. Like,
well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I gotta slow down because and that's why I'm so this hurts so bad with JB. He was gonna be campaigning my whole thing for my album, so he was like, no, come on, man, you releasing too much content. But I told JB, I said it's the reason why I'm releasing all this content is to give people a feel for me and give you different lanes that I'm in. But I'm definitely the same person on every project. I'm lyrical. I give you it the way I want to give it to you, and so you can understand it. So that's just me. But I want to do it. I'm itching to release another one, but I'm a listen to my and JB voice still saying, "Come on, Notes, you putting out too. Come on, man, you doing too much." So I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. I know definitely in June. I don't have an exact date, but in June I'm releasing my Watch the View album, and that is definitely dedicated to JB. And then I lost my aunt too. She passed away from the COVID-19. So
sorry to hear that. My condolences.
Thank you. It's definitely dedicated to both of them. So Watch the View will be an album that's going to last for about a year and a half.
Okay. All right, listen, by the time they get a hold of that one, they got a lot to catch up on, so don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. So, I think we're caught up to the newest project you got out, correct? Okay, so for the people that missed it, I'm going to try to do it again before we sign out, because Instagram be like, bitch, your time is up. Yeah. But I'm going to try to play it again because the joint you have out right now is a banger. If nobody has told you, I know they have, but I'm going to tell you, that's a banger. Round of applause. Round of applause for that one. We played it on the intro. It's called No Justice, No Peace. And it's self-explanatory, but for the people who didn't hear it, why don't you describe to them that song? Because that song is a whole movement and a whole vibe.
For me, I just felt like I think everybody was caught up in, everything going on in the world and stuff like that. And I just wanted to take a moment to let people understand the severity of police brutality. And it doesn't feel good. It didn't feel good to me seeing it. And I watched it for a while. So I said I wanted to make a song that I could shake the people and wake the people up. Maybe just shake them a little bit to say, hey, we need to wake up. We need to unite, but it's not just about police brutality. It's more or less about us in our communities. What are we doing in our communities? We're still hurting one another. We're still doing things to each other. And at the end of the day, when we go out there, you got somebody else that's already against you. So at the end of the day, it was just more or less, are you going to take a stand? Are you going to stand up? Are we going to continue to let these cops do what they do? And I want to have more of a voice. You know what I mean? I know we got, the COVID thing going on, but after this is over, I definitely want to take a step forward and get involved in some of this stuff with police brutalities and maybe have seminars where it's not just about our people. Yes, we represent our people, but maybe have a conversation with the police officers and say, look, man, this is how we feel. Tell us how you feel, but this is how we feel. You got to understand, we're scared to not. And I'm gonna tell you like this: I don't think we're scared because I don't believe in fear. I don't believe in that. You understand what I'm saying? Because especially at the expense of me going outside and being free and having kids, I want to live free. I don't want to sit here and feel like I get pulled over by a cop and it's like, oh, because you're scared, because they're scared, you're taking it out, and that's what it really is. So it's more or less educating people to say it's okay to stand up. It's okay to have a voice. Sometimes some people will be like, I want to go in the corner and not say nothing, but that's not doing anything. That's not not helping the cause. That's only creating it and making it more bigger. So at the end of the day, that was my speech of just telling people to stand up and fight. And that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to have that voice and tell people, like, look, sometimes you just got to stand up and look. Sometimes some people might get hurt. It's okay. But at the end of the day, I just want everybody to understand that police brutality is not right on no type of level. It's not.
Right.
It's not at all.
That's right. And in the day and age now, police brutality is nothing new, especially to us in the inner city communities. But in this day and age with technology and, you can account for things in real time now more than ever. It is a bigger factor of not the police so much being, scared of us as a people. They're scared of the unknown, and they know that dealing in our communities, there's a lot of unknowns to them because they don't know us. They're not from our communities. They don't get to know our communities. Very often, they will throw these green rookies dead in the hood, and they don't know nothing about being in the inner city community. They came from, Long Island, some gated community in Long Island, and they just upset that they couldn't pass the Nassau or the Suffolk test. So they ended up coming to the city where they don't want to be, with all of these prejudgments and all of these preconceived notions about the people that live there.
And you people that live there too. Like that's my whole thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what they got to understand. And what you're saying, to your point, I like your point, because it's like, at the end of the day, educate the police. Educate them. You guys are not educating them. You're giving them a written test. They pass the test. They go through the academy, and then you're throwing them straight out, clean into the street. That's not helping anybody. That's not doing
it. And what they do I don't know about in other cities, because, we have people all over the country and all over the world that watch. But in New York, their community police department is a totally separate sector than the actual police that are in the communities. And I'm like,
exactly.
What fucking sense, excuse my French, but what fucking sense does that make? Because your community affairs unit should be your paroling officers.
Exactly.
I don't get it. I'm young enough but old enough to understand and remember when we knew who the police officers were in our neighborhood. And the police officers knew who we were. They knew if you were a criminal, what level criminal, how much of a threat you would be. Do we fuck with him with this? Do we not? And he only sells weed every other day. Like... You understand what I mean? Or was he a menace running around the hood to society? These cops don't know that.
No.
We really want to believe that it's innocent until proven guilty. But I'm not a pessimist. I'm not an optimist. I'm a realist.
Yes.
The real is you better prove yourself innocent.
Yeah.
Because they don't see you that way.
They don't.
And that's just the bottom line. Coming from somebody who grew up, born and raised in Sean Bell country, rest in peace, Sean Bell. I grew up in Hollis, Queens. They will shoot you.
Yes, they
will. And deal with the courts later.
Yes, they will.
And they were scared to death of my neighborhood because of Prince. People who don't know the story of 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And Supreme Team and,
heavy back.
The cops were terrified
to
come over here and do anything. Old lady fell in the street, bitch, you better get up because...
Yep, you're right about that though. But that's
they're not coming.
That's how the late 80s, early 90s was though. That's how it was. It's the truth. But my thing is, don't take, because you have criminals. You're going to have criminals in every community that you go to. Don't take that and you're just saying, oh, you got one criminal in there, and then it's like, oh, yeah, well, Notes is the one. I'm a working man. I go out here and I do what I got to do. And I think everybody should be treated equal. You shouldn't be treated like no damn animal out here. I'm just period. Because if
I don't go into your neighborhood and think you're going to be a cannibal or you're making bombs in the basement or something, then you shouldn't come to my neighborhood and think that every person, black or brown, is going to rob you or try to, rape you or anything like that. I still to this day see women grab their purses.
Yeah.
Bitch, you the one that's laundering money and writing bad checks. Exactly. I should be running from you. I should be covering my purse and my wallet from you. Are you dumb?
Yep.
That's how I feel about that situation. I'm more scared of a white collar criminal than somebody running up on me in the street any day.
Exactly. The
motherfucker that will go in my bank account and take everything, my little coins that I got, terrifies me.
Yes.
running up on me in the street, I will bust your ass. You better get...
You're exactly right. Yep, you're right about that.
Moving on, motherfucker.
Yeah, because this... Yeah.
The motherfucker that will scan my debit card and make a copy. I'm terrified of you.
Of course, because they can take it all. You might take.
You be in Fiji as me.
Exactly.
On my dime. I'm terrified of you. Yep. I'm terrified of the motherfucker who gonna light his shoe on fire to blow us all up. That ain't me. That ain't us. I couldn't even accept it when what was the Baltimore, the niggas in the car? I couldn't accept that.
That right there, I'm gonna be honest with you. Stuff like
the
that.
DC snipers. I couldn't accept that. You couldn't have told me that wasn't Billy Bob Joe. You couldn't have told me that. You couldn't have told me that. Those are the ones I'm scared of. The ones in the backwoods, like the Children of the Corn.
Exactly.
Not Ray Ray on the corner, motherfucker. Are you dumb?
Yep.
You know. So, with that song, it's so relevant, so prevalent, and it's such great timing. It seems like that song came about and was born in the most ideal time you could have possibly released it.
And you know what? I call it fate. Like, I really call it fate, because I wonder if that song would have been what it was if we didn't have the chaos going on outside. But I think it still would have been. I think it was voice. I think it was a wake up call for a lot of people. You know, so that's why I made this my first single, and I got a lot of other singles that I love, but this one I love so much because it's a banger. It really is a banger.
Yeah, this one's definitely going to resonate with the nation, with the with the public. It's definitely going to resonate with them. Yeah. And this is just one of the singles that is coming off of your new project called
Watch the View.
Watch the View. And so tell me, what's Watch the View about?
Watch the View actually, it still has the same meaning, but it changed because of dedicating it to my aunt and dedicating it to JB. But the meaning was a lot of my ancestors, I felt like through the years, it was like so much stuff could have happened to me and it never did. So that was just the Lord watching over me, but I felt like I had those angels that was watching over me. So I was watching from heaven and just making sure that, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing as a man, as a father, as a husband, just making sure that I'm doing what I got to do. So the view is them. The view is me, but it's them watching me. I'm the view. And people was like, well,
okay.
You the best in New York City? No, I'm just saying that I'm the view, and they're watching over me. So now my ancestors and my family members, and I told you all, I don't have friends, I got family. So JB may not be blood related to me, but that's my brother. So
that's right.
In the view now, he's watching over. He's making sure I'm doing what I got to do. And my aunt, the same thing. They're watching over me, making sure I'm doing what I got to do. So that's where the whole title of Watch the View came from. So I just feel now I'm at a point in my life where I am the view now. I feel like I'm doing the things that an artist is supposed to be doing. I'm doing the things that a man is supposed to be doing, and I feel good about it. So this is a feel-good project. I think No Justice, No Peace is that song that I just wanted to let people know. No, still can hit you with a little bit of them punches.
That's right. I still got the 1-2 on it, baby.
Still got 1-2. So at the end of the day, that's what that project meant to me. But this is a project that everybody is gonna love, and I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say this, and this era with music, this is a classic, and I'm giving you guys a classic this time around. I really am.
Speak that shit into existence, boy. You better speak it into existence.
Yep.
So you mentioned before that this is probably going to be the first project that you are going to unleash the features on. So who can we expect you to get down with on this one?
Well, I got some people you've got features. So dialogue-wise, they're not really rapping on this, but I know Exile is speaking speaking his thoughts on the album. Nico Tesla speaking his thoughts on the album. I got a song that song is called Shining Star. It's a record dedicated to all the greats, but I'm really dedicating it to Rockefeller Records and all those other record labels that came out back in the day. So those two are going to be on that. Cameron J, He is going to be on my Cocaine Drip song. Who else I got? Oh, Clef. I don't know if you know who Clef R&B singer. That guy right there. He's going to be on the track called City Love. My sis, which is Nico Tesla's wife, Stephanie Robinson. She's going to be singing. She's also going to be singing on that Rockefeller record. And pretty much the producer that I actually work with, Tone Jones, he has a couple of hooks on there. So it's more features than I had before. Think about it. Okay. Like, you know? All right. Salute to my girl and fellow Hollis native, Shay Bars. I heard she's going to be a part of all of that. Yes. That's my girl. Round of applause. Yeah, she's supposed to be a part of it. She was going to be the last song on my Watch the View, and we're trying to get to that point where we can get that track fixed up and over it. I mean, it's just, oh man, I just hate it. Like, so I hope that happens. Because you know I want to start loading these tracks into DistroKid and all that other stuff and getting it ready. If it don't, then you know what? We still gonna record it and we still gonna put it out. That's how I feel. Because that's dope. That record that Shay Balls is talking about, that record is dope. I'm just letting y'all know. Look out for that Shay Balls in No City 2. That record is dope. Trust me. And if you don't know who we talking about, please go do your homework on sis. You better. Please. You better. Please go do your homework on sis. She was supposed to be on my next ladies' night, but then this whole COVID-19 shit happened. So we are definitely gonna get Shay Bars to the people. I have to. She's my Hollis sister. You know what I mean? She's disgusting. She's kind of disgusting. You know, you think, oh, she's nasty, she hard. Go further. Keep going. Keep going. She's nasty. I tell you all the time, like, Shay Balls, if you listening, look at me. She was in here. Shay Balls, she's a nasty. She's a nasty. She's one of those MCs that when she rhyme, your face just turn all kind of crazy, like. Just man, like So I'm gonna take this second. She is so humble though. She's so humble, and people take Shay and they look at Shay and they say, "Oh, Shay mean." No, that's just how Shay is. Just mean when it comes to rapping. But Shay is the nicest person you could ever meet. Straight. It's called resting bitch face. She said resting bitch face. I am the queen. Put my resting bitch face crown right here. Oh man, that's funny. I'm infamous for walking down the street and people being like, "Damn girl, you should smile." And I don't even understand that my face is all scrunched up. Exactly. Like that it is, but salute to all my queens with the resting bitch face. It's all right, honey. Word. It's all right, because when we smile, it's off the charts. But otherwise, what the fuck we walking around here for? Smiling for, like, okay. Like, why you smiling? Just all the time. Just like, what you smiling about? You know? I gotta give him that little mug. We from up north, you know. Come on, I face times. Nigga, I am smiling. Shut up. Word. So before we wrap it up, because I still want to make sure I'll be able to play your EP again. How are you getting along in this coronavirus? I'm surviving, man. I'm surviving. My family's maintaining. In June, later part in June, my baby girl is gonna be on her way. My wife's giving birth, so. I ain't too excited about her coming through this corona, but I mean, we'll be safe. We'll be safe and sound, and I believe it. Also, at the end of the day, we'll be fine. But we're maintaining. You know, my other kids, my two sons, they're doing what they got to do. They haven't seen outside unless it's the backyard and back in the house. So a lot of schoolwork for them. My wife, she's just doing what she needs to do before this baby comes. So. You know, I mean, everything is good. I mean, besides losing my aunt and losing JB, and then, you know, a lot of other families losing a lot of family members and stuff like that. It's just sad, man. It really is. Yeah. And you know what? At the end of the day, I I only can do what I can do as a human being. You understand what I'm saying? So it hurts to see, people going through, and I just hope this just goes away so soon. I hope it does.
Yeah. Before we leave, I want everybody that's tuned in and that's gonna tune in, because this episode will be rebroadcasted on the S.STREET Media website, YouTube, and Ustream. So let the people know where they can follow you and where they can keep up with you, and most importantly, where they can catch this completed new project.
I'm going to start off on Facebook. You can find me, Notes82, NOTESEIGHTYTWO on Facebook. My Facebook like page is just Notes, NOTES. On IG, you can find me at Notes82_, and on Twitter, you can find me at NotesView33. All my projects, you can find them on all streaming media, digital, whatever platforms. But my Watch the View album will definitely be on everything digital. So you got,
and we can probably expect that when Outside opens back up. Whatever that is.
I don't know what happened, but if it don't open back up, I know probably the first week in June I will be dropping Watch the View.
Okay, so we can expect that in another 30 days or so.
You can expect that in another 30 days. But go ahead and make sure you cop my No Justice, No Peace. Download it, whatever you want to do, buy it, purchase it.
Right.
So you go listen to that, and you're going to get a phenomenal project from Notes82 come June.
That's right. I want to thank you so much for joining me here. I can talk to you a whole nother hour, but Instagram is definitely going to cut me the fuck off.
It is.
They only let you be great for a little bit, and then they like, all right, get the fuck on, Felicia. Keep them babies out the street.
Yep.
Get on. But thank you so much for coming through to the house. Well, I'm gonna definitely have you when Outside opens up and I can get you to the studio. You definitely gotta come through to the house, and we'll do a listening party. We'll do whatever. I want to support you any way I can, because you got nothing but love for me, and I don't take that lightly. So I want to thank you so much for being so dope. Yep. And, I'm a person to give people flowers while they can smell them. Yes. So just thank you for being the artist that you are. You are not common.
Yes.
You're not common. You are definitely unique. You got something so precious to give to the people, and I can't wait for this project, because if this is the first single off of it, honey, please, child, I ain't fucking with you.
Let me tell you something. This is something this is my favorite body of work, and I know I'm 100% sure you guys are gonna enjoy it. So me and you we're gonna keep in contact. I'm thinking about throwing, if we're outside, if we're not outside, if we're inside, I definitely want to invite you to the watch the live listening party that I'm going to do online and stuff like that. Maybe I can have you tap in. You can talk on there and stuff like that. But,
absolutely.
We definitely going to stay connected, and that's how we got to be. We got to stay connected and keep pushing the culture, as far as we can push it. So you're a individual, and anybody on this live, if you're an artist, you need to tap in. Tap in.
Thank you.
Of hip hop podcast. Tap in with them and make sure that you follow Spicy Sugar 718. Follow her and make sure that you guys set up an interview. You talk to her and say, "Hey, I got some dope music." Now make sure your music is dope, though.
That's right. That's right. I don't patronize people, and there's been people that I love, and I'm like. That ain't it, bro.
Man.
That ain't it. But you know what? Everybody understands that I have such a love for this culture, and I'm not going to do anything, say anything, or put out anything that's going to disrupt the natural aura of hip-hop. I'm just not going to do it. Yep. And so it doesn't matter what genre of music you are. Good music is good music, number one.
Yeah.
But bullshit is bullshit too.
Sure enough, I only smell it one way. Bullshit. Exactly, like you said.
I love you to death. Thank you so much. Thank you, JB. You continue to do wonders down here for us. Because of JB, I will never, ever let you go. So please be on the lookout for Notes 82. He has some amazing things. This is only the beginning. Round of applause. Before we get out of here, because I know we only got a couple more minutes, I want them to hear, for the people who missed it, I want them to hear No Justice, No Peace. So why don't you introduce that?
Right. My new single, Notes 82, No Justice, No Peace. Enjoy.
This has been another episode of the quarantine edition of the House of Hip Hop podcast show. I'm going to be bringing these to you as much as I can. So I'm going to be back to you on Monday with another dope episode from the rap goddess, Dirty Diana. That is going to be something y'all cannot miss.
Yep.
Until next time, y'all, Notes 82, No Justice, No Peace.
Yeah. Notes 82. I need y'all to listen real close to this. Pay attention. They'll never catch me slipping. Hands in the air, these cops is really on a mission. Camps on the dance, don't give a fuck about your feelings. Stand your ground, cause this shit is meant to kill us. Counterfeit people will be swinging in our kitchen. Words from my soul, I got an illmatic vision. Big had a dream, cops really caught attention. Time to give it up, see the flow is still different. Friends spotting shit, you see I had to make decisions. Came from the bottom, look, the curve is just my vision. Concrete jungle like Nick, I'm more distinguished. Give the people truth and then they'll rip your soul to pieces. Time to give it up, I see the hate is more contagious. Really not concerned cause your mind is more vacant. Lies being told like we still segregated. My give it up vibe, no, it's about to take care. Where y'all at? College and people, stand the fuck up. We about to riot out here. They doing us wrong out here, man. What you gonna do about it? You gonna stand up? It's something about political missions created to get you. Or leave you on your block with this mission. Handle your dishes. Won't even shed a tear when they miss you. Society's issue. Send us overseas with the missions. It's time to break you. Time to take the chains of our ankle. The system can break you. Free because our people was labeled. This honor can change you. Have you put the gun at your navel. Now it's illegal. All because it's been superficial. The flipping is rape. Rather have the mind of an angel. This is the angel. Seems like every cop is unstable. These bullets can take you and wonder why there's blood on your table. The fans can break you. And you in the coma unstable. They ready to face you. Find out that your brother they hate you. The titles are crazy. We're ready to live our lives in the safety. Nothing can break you unless you want the Father to take you. So tell me why we gotta die. Tell me we gotta try. What is this been like this? We are the House of Hip Hop podcast show. No thing the message here, my message, my plan. Bring the streets together, one mission, one stand. I'm really from the ghetto, but a one-man band. I'm all about the struggle, but it's time to give it back. Time to give you truth, time to give you real. Black Hill Ave, I will keep going to sleep. Cause niggas got a dream, but they scared to get the loot. Never make it hard, but they never read the book. Youngins getting high, but that medicine is good. Time to get a job, no excuses, use it good. Life is like a movie, at the end of the look. You shook, the look, the future Facebook. The world is full of dreams, opportunities, and all. Brothers screaming progress, what we think is on the phone. I see our future as the song.